Good afternoon, Abbotsford residents. I'm Mr. Pelican. I'm running for the commander of Abbotsford to be your mayor. The BC Conservatives are breathing a little lighter now. The oxygen's masked off, no Liberal can get it. And we saw no endorsements now are going to work. Brad Viss's endorsement on Ian Black has wrecked his reputation backing a Liberal. Henry Brown and his stuff with Peter Malabar didn't work, and Caroline Elliott, all her money and everything. It is a promise when these candidates run by these local ridings to work their ass off to get them in. But residents and voters have realized what the establishment's been doing, and they blocked them. Today, the Conservative holds the Conservative leadership, and I told you there was 3 running: Caroline Finlay, Yuri Folner, and Dallas Brody. We're going to see what's going to come now as the NDP will start smear campaigns against Caroline Finlay, and it'll be very quick and it'll be very fast. They need to get her down. But what's not breathing a little lighter is my Abbotsford farmers. They're not breathing at all. Still suffering from the tragedy caused by local mayors and council on negligence. So let me give you a run-up. I'm asking all the farmers not to give a vote to Abbotsford City Councils, not allow their signs on you, or the mayor. A friend doesn't do this to another friend. The lift on Dave Sidhu's property took all the councils and mayor to collaborate that was his dad's, and the begging for Pam to get it as the ag minister to Vitalis took all them. They could do all this for them, and no help to you, not a dollar for money. They dismantled the Dike and Ditch Committee Mogel sat on because Henry wanted to teach him a lesson so he wasn't getting any extra money, and bankrupt him so he would leave the council, just like Henry was doing for Bruce Banman. He was trying to run him out by cutting him off, and on each board, the hospital board, the police board, you get extra money into your salary. This, friends don't do to friends. That is a guarantee. We need to get him out of there, and we need to block him. And you can see Henry Braun still hanging on. Quickly after this election, he knows he's done. He went right beside Patty Ross and took a picture on a book signing. Quickly, hanging on. You saw the rocks on Gladys Avenue for Ron Funk of the verse and how Ron and Henry were tied and everything else. We need the RCMP. We're going to go after them. They only have one choice now, and that is now for their survival and their financials, their money and their income, is try to grab the municipal election. They lost the feds, and that was clear thanks to Darren Brown, Suk Mangill, and them walked in, Mike and all them were gone, and they lost the provincial. They're scrambling like rats in the bunker silo. And now they need to pull together and try to save their ass. It's clear to my farmers. What took place on the Mackenzie Bog to the South Asians getting deadly sick needed to call for the law in Environmental Canada, which is one phone call by council and mayor. They weren't. They were working together. It's about them. What took place on many farms, 500 vehicles out on ag land where you're suffering to make your tractor payments and your mortgage payments. He was given a pass, but endangered the general public with no flaggers, no proper crosswalks or nothing, and not allowed to certify to do that on ALR land. But what took place with Ross Siemens and Council was giving you a fine if you wanted to make an extra couple of $100 to store my semi-trucks there and everything else they were going after. They set it up to enrichinate themselves and benefit off it. What took place at Barrowtown Waterworks, hauling all that sand in and hauling all that sand out, and double timing through Jake's contract was to inflate and abuse the money till it was gone. If you hauled all that sand out, you would have hauled it against the canals that run from the nuke sack to build it up. There would have been 10 times the amount. And it wasn't. And who removes sand for flood zone and put rocks there? Only Jake's contracting. Go run. There's another 7 million or 10 million we need to burn up. You saw the overcost of the Abbotsford Police Building that the council saw, and you saw the wastage of money. They need to knock on your door, and ask you, please, it'll be different this time, it'll be different this time, it'll be different this time. They are supposed to be there for you, especially, never mind for the little things, but for the big things. And the financial burdens that you suffered on your tractors and everything else, they weren't there. There's 500 million in the city. They caused a fight with the federal Liberals because Henry and them were blocking the MPs from running here. And they caused a fight at the provincial level. And you saw what Henry tried to do Trudeau in, wasn't working. And Trudeau was smart enough with Carney to know that Brad Viss is lobbying all the time for the money. Ain't about the farmers. He's in everybody's riding, Sooks, Mark Strauss, and everywhere. And it's pretty foregone conclusion, in my opinion. Carney's sitting there going, I wonder what Henry said with Ed Fast to Brad Viss. You go in there and lobby that money. You push down and try to embarrass some little secretary. And if we get that big settlement for this infrastructure, we'll give you a cut. I bet you Carney's thinking that because I thought it right away when I saw Brad. You saw Bruce Banman not stand up and argue for this money as a former mayor, council, and MLA because it wasn't going into farmers' hands. It was going into infrastructure and be burnt up. We cannot allow these councils and mayor to have another term. We cannot allow them to fool you. And now when they knock on your door, you say, yeah, will you go have a look at Andy Sidhu's property on Tracy Road? And you explain that, Les Barkman. You explain that. And you listen to Les go, well, it wasn't me, it was them. It wasn't me, it was them. You're elected to be there for the community, accountability, Henry's words, and call it out. I didn't see it on your podcast that Dave Sidhu is Andy Sidhu's son, sat on the decision with Abbotsford First. It was a partnership, and they all benefited. And Mark Warkentine, a lawyer, sat on that thing. Because you had political friends at the provincial levels that wouldn't send Attorney General in to charge you. There's 500 million in the city coffers, and they wanted to save it to $1 billion to match funds with the feds in the provincial to build the infrastructure through here. So at the end of the day, you have to look at what these guys are going to ask. You miles a sill your farm and give them your money, because that's what they're doing to you. They took away from you. They took away your food. They put financial ruins on you. They didn't lobby for you. They made no effort to clean the ditches. They didn't go out on trips and field trips with you. They're going to bring that ag minister in here and try to kiss her backside and show her around and say we need massive cover-up on Dave Sidhu's property with Pamela. Then on Riverside, and we need it on the Mackenzie Bog, and we need it on Manny Farms. If I was that ag minister, I wouldn't poke my head anywhere in the Fraser Valley. And I'd get back on Brad Viss's lap, and I'd fly to Ottawa, and I'd try to get in front of Carney. This is going to stop. But what we need to come to an understanding, George Ferguson would be standing right here beside me if he was the mayor. If Bruce Banman was the mayor, Barrowtown Jakes wouldn't be doing what they were doing. If Bruce Banman was the mayor, Manny Farms wouldn't be doing what he was doing. Joe wouldn't be getting blocked, and Amric Moran getting lifted to go to get in as council, and Dave Sidhu and Andy Sidhu being rewarded. It takes you, Abbotsford farmers. It takes you, which I grew up on these grounds. I grew up as a young kid on these grounds with my family. Now you're in financial ruins. It takes a person to come in and say, you're going to be looked after. Abbotsford's going to look after Abbotsford. We're not going to keep 500 million in the thing. We're going to bring economic drivers. We're going to put cold storage here so we can say to David Eby, ain't you the one that wants to stay in BC, pull stuff off the American shelf to Donald Trump alcohol, but you want me to pick all my berries and send them to California, be frozen, and brought them back here to make a blueberry pie. I'm asking you, Abbotsford farmers, for you. We need to make sure that that Manji Sohi can put his name back in after all the change. Suki Dami gets to stand up for his South Asians and run for council. But we got to make sure even Les Barkman gets his ass kicked out of Abbotsford for what they're doing. They're going to pull together very fast. They're in jeopardy. The ringleader's back behind him, Henry, with a book signing with Paddy Ross. This is where they need to be. And from day one when it happened, I never forgot that I grew up as a farmer. I never forgot the values that what we must stand by and fight for, and that is for each other. And these guys forgot it. They forgot themselves to hold themselves accountable. They worked an organization. They became a team, and it's about them, and it's never about you. If I was them, I would have did what Brenda Falk did. I wouldn't be able to look you in the face, and I'd pack up and leave. They're going to come with a lot of bullshit, begging and crying and everything. And you ask them, where's the money in my hands? Where is the accountability in Barrowtown? Why is Dave Sadu and Andy Sadu got a big lift and their houses rushed through? And I can't haul a load of dirt to protect the dikes, because you can't haul dirt in. Magna's told to go out and fine you, and you just imagine me playing the role for a minute. You go out there, Magna, you take the Abbotsford Police and anybody that's doing dike mitigation or control, I want you to fine them 50, 60,000. We'll put the lawyer and Peter Speranese, city lawyer and Peter Speranese. We need to show that their hands are tied, and we need the federal government money. And right now they're starting to help themselves because they know they're never going to get help from these losers in the city. And right now they're being pushed on to stop it all because that looks bad to Carney. If Carney shoots that big jet over here, it looks bad. So go out and find them. Under me, let me tell you, Abbotsford farmers, under me, there's plenty of dirt coming off of job sites out of Vancouver that them big construction companies got to pay to get rid of. We'll check the soil at that end, and we'll come in and we'll do mitigation for Abbotsford for free. And then we'll just look at getting the money to recuperate your costs and everything you were suffering. That there is not a guarantee. That there is not a promise. That there ain't bullshit. That there is a commitment. That there is why I stand here today on your grounds to give you this commitment under me. Remember, council and mayor, every one of them out, and not a one left. Abbotsford, British Columbia, I'm live.